Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Hennessy, and I want to give you an introduction to what it'd be like to study geography at Trinity. And our headline here is Geography Matters! And so all I want to do is tell you a bit about what it'd be like to study geography at Trinity, and in the course of doing that, about what geography as a subject is about. And I suppose for me, one of the most important things about geography as a subject, and you're here to hear about studying geography through arts, but one of the most important things about geography is the fact that we learn about the humanities and social sciences and the natural sciences. So geography is one of the few subjects that brings together those two things. So we learn about matters to do with natural sciences, to do with vegetation, to do with climate, to do with landforms, subjects and areas that use the methods of the natural sciences. And we also then learn about culture, and we study identity, we study society. And geography really, I think, is unique in bringing those two areas together. So anybody who comes out with a geography degree should be trained in both of those areas and how the two come together. The interaction between culture and nature, the interaction between society and environment, and how those interactions create geographical patterns. And by geographical patterns, I suppose I mean patterns that are to do with place, patterns that are to do with region, patterns that are to do with landscape. Essentially, I see geography, and I think most of my colleagues would see geography as the study of how and why places differ, and how and why places are the same. And we do that by looking at how human groups, over time, over historical time, how human groups interact with their environments in order to create patterns of geography. So I would stress that element. So people coming in to study it through the arts will also get that grounding in the natural sciences as well. And we essentially, I suppose, have three broad branches of geography that we teach, which would be explicitly human geography, explicitly physical geography, and then what we call environmental geography, which focuses more closely on the interactions between people and environment. The sorts of questions that we ask, these sorts of questions, and these come up in various courses that we do. The differences between places in terms of quality of life, in terms of wealth. So we look at why are some places rich, why are some places poor, patterns of globalization that have generated both local, regional and global patterns of inequality. We try to explore those. Why are some regions politically stable or more politically stable, and others highly politically unstable? So we have courses on Africa and political violence in Africa, and the geography of political violence in Africa at the advanced level. Physical and human landscapes. My own area, I'm an historical geographer. I mostly work on the medieval period, on medieval Ireland, and comparing medieval Ireland with Germany and Scandinavia and England in particular, and looking at the development of settlement patterns, patterns of land use, patterns of agriculture, cultural variations in language, in law, and how these things are expressed in landscapes. So I think a common theme that will run through a lot of our courses will be that idea of landscape, and landscape is a sort of a coordinating principle for understanding the interaction between people and environment over historical time periods. We have a number of people in the department who are expert on climate change and environmental change more generally. And we study that both in terms of paleoclimatic and environmental change, that's looking back over recent and distant time periods, but also in the contemporary pattern. We're heavily involved in issues such as climate justice, and some of our staff members are involved with Mary Robinson in the Climate Justice Foundation, for example. So we look at all dimensions of such things as global climate change and its local and regional effects. How do diseases spread across space? How can this be combated? We had until recently a major project which is still ongoing in the department, even though the staff member has left, where we're looking at the spread of diseases in Africa, both historically and in the contemporary world. So that's just to give you a flavour of some of the sorts of questions that we'll explore. And different staff members will come in with their different expertise to look at a range of questions, but I think they're all linked together by that core idea of how and why places and regions differ, and also how that is a result of interaction between people and environment. You're here to hear about the arts entry. You can also come into geography through science. You can come in through earth science. You can come in through the geography and politics option, which is essentially the same as the two-subject moderatorship, but it's a separate moderatorship for various reasons. So you can study geography through a variety of routes. If you come in through the arts entry, that's the two-subject moderatorship route, we also have a provision whereby if you really love geography at the end of 2 years of the TSM, that you can transfer into natural science geography and do single honours just geography for the last 2 years. In the TSM entry, you can do 2 subjects all the way through. You can do 2 subjects for 3 years and just do geography in the final year. And we also have provision that if you go abroad on Erasmus in your 3rd year and you can't get courses for your 2nd subject, that you can just do geography on Erasmus and come back and just do geography in the final year. So that's effectively doing single honours geography in the sophomore years. So there are a whole range of ways of doing geography. If you do it through the TSM arts entry, what you will do in the freshman years, and Trinity we call the first 2 years the junior freshman and the senior freshman years, and in the first 2 years you'll do in first year big broad survey courses where you will cover, what we hope to do is to showpiece contemporary academic geography. So we will have a whole range of different subjects there, trying to give you an idea of what's happening in contemporary geography and what are the different ways of studying geography. And so it's a broad set of survey courses. So you'll do a big course of physical geography, which will cover climate, geomorphology, biogeography, a whole range of things in physical geography. You'll also do environmental, specifically environmental geography, and that is both looking at such things as climate change, human interactions with the environment, but also such things as environmental governance, the management and the government of environmental issues. And then we have the human geography, which will be urban geography, social geography, elements maybe of certain elements of historical geography. And by those 3 courses, what we hope is you'll come out at the end of the junior freshman year with a very solid grounding in what are the outlines of academic geography at the university level. In second year, you continue this in the Changing Worlds course, which will probably by the time you come through actually be split into 2, but we'll still be covering the same amount of material, but there'll be 2 separate modules. And the Changing World course is a continuation of the grounding, the survey grounding that you would do in the first year survey courses. So we explore different issues and we explore the earlier issues in some more depth. And that is a team-taught course, so a number of members of staff are involved. And in the human geography side, the overarching theme is globalization. So we have people talking about globalization from a political geography perspective, people talking about globalization from an environmental perspective. I come in and talk about the most important aspect of it, which is the historical dimension of globalization and how contemporary globalization has deep historical roots going back into the 15th century. So I expose people to the importance of the historical view in geography. And then in the physical geography, we cover fields such as some of the core basics of geomorphology, of landforms, and landform, the processes involved in landform creation. And we do soils, we do climate, and we do some broad things to do with global tectonics and other subjects such as that. So that's one aspect of the senior freshman course. We also do a course called Collection and Analysis of Geographical Data. Now, I think by the time, this hasn't been utterly finalised yet, by the time you would be coming in, I think we'll be incorporating a lot of the collection and analysis of geographical data into two separate courses, one on physical geography and one on human geography. We found that to a certain extent, the students found just doing collecting and analysing data as a whole module that they actually found a little bit boring and a little bit abstract. And so what we've decided is that we're now going to incorporate the study of methods into the substantive courses, so that they'll be more directly related to substantive issues. So in historical geography, for example, I'll talk about different methods that you can use in studying historical geography, ranging from modern computer techniques to more traditional techniques in historical geography. Other people will be looking at geographical statistics, geostatistics, and statistical analysis in geographical studies. This won't be just acquiring skills, so these elements of the second year course aren't just about acquiring skills, although you will acquire skills, and many of those will be transferable skills. So when we talk about statistics, for example, we concentrate on geostatistics, on spatial statistics, but we also hope that you will come out then with a critical awareness of the methods employed in academic research. So that when you're reading a book or when you're reading an academic article, that you understand the limits and the possibilities of the methods that are employed. And we would hope then that that critical awareness of methods would translate into the reading of a newspaper or watching a television report. So when you hear somebody talking about some new report that includes some statistics, that you'll be able to critique what those statistics actually mean. So we would hope that this focus on data and on methods will develop your ability to make a critical appraisal of methods, and therefore to be able to read academic work and other work in a critical light. In general, we would hope that the whole programme will develop your critical faculties. And in a general level, what we hope you'll be able to do is to take in information, take in readings, take in books and articles, and listen to lectures, to digest that and be able to articulate it in writing and orally, but also to be able to take a very clear, independent, critical perspective on everything you read and everything that you hear. And if you come out as a graduate of this place being able to do that, I think we would regard that as one of the most important things, as well as learning just about geography. And thirdly, we have there the seminars, and this is really, I think, an unusual one for second years, insofar as we have a whole module, 10-unit module, which is a third of your second year geography, where you write a major essay, a 4,000-word essay. And your classes involve you developing a topic, developing your subtopic, then learning how to develop a bibliography, a reading list around that topic. You then write a progress report, you make an oral presentation, and then you finish off a 4,000-word essay, which is a big essay for second years. And when I'm in charge of that module, and when I started it, I was actually extremely nervous. I said, how are second year students going to work out with this? Will it work at all? And as it's turned out, it's been a great success. The students really take to this. They like the independence. It's guided independence insofar as you have a tutor who you can ask questions of. We have workshops. You have to make presentations. You get detailed feedback on your progress reports. And the students have really taken to this, and they love getting really dug into a specific subject and writing a long piece about that subject. And that has actually been something that we think has worked out very well. So you get this grounding then in substantive topics, a range of things in geography, trying to show you the range of geographical studies, and you also get quite a solid grounding in methods and skills, many of which are transferable to other things. If you never do anything with geography again after you finish your degree, you should still have skills that will be of value. And then in the sophister years, which is the junior sophister and the senior sophister years, which is years 3 and 4, you choose modules from a range of options. So globalization, coastal processes, historical geography, environmental governance, geomorphological options. We have a new member of staff now who is one of the top world's experts. She's just been appointed one of the top world's experts on the geomorphology, on landforms on Mars and on other planets, and she will be offering a module there on those sorts of topics. And you make up your units from those options. If you just do geography in your final year, you also do something that's very important, which is a dissertation. So if you choose to just do geography in your final year, you do a dissertation, which is a 10,000 word piece of writing, which is based on primary research as well as on secondary reading. So you base that on reading material that other people have written and published, but you also engage with first-hand sources yourself. You collect, if you did it in physical geography, you do survey work, you collect information in the field, you might do questionnaire work. In historical geography, I have people working on original documentary sources, and you write up a piece of primary research situated in the context of a body of academic literature. And the dissertation, we find, students find the most challenging thing they do in college, but also usually the most satisfying and the most rewarding. And it can also be a very useful thing to show to, if you do a good dissertation, to show to an employer, or if you want to do further study, graduate study, you can demonstrate clear research potential in a dissertation. So if I'm writing a reference for a student and they've done a dissertation that gets a 2-1 or a first, I'm able to say that this student has already done research. And if you're taking them on for a master's, they have demonstrated ability in the sort of work that they'll be doing at the graduate level. So the dissertation, I think, is an important thing. We also do, another thing that distinguishes geography is doing field work. And in recent years, we've been to Mallorca, back to Mallorca this year. It sounds like a nice trip off to Mallorca for a few days in September. We do a lot of hard work during the day. The students are usually working up till about 9 o'clock in the evening. Then they can do whatever they like after that. And we leave them to that. And they're all about 20, most of them will be around 20, so you can imagine what 40, 20-odd-year-olds will get up to in Mallorca. But during the day, we're out by 8:30 or 9 in the morning, and we keep working till about 9 at night. And we do a whole range of things in physical geography and human geography, and the students find this extremely rewarding. We've been to Iceland, we've been to Africa, and we do quite a lot of field work in Ireland. I do the Mallorca trip, but I also do separate field trips, shorter field trips in Ireland, which I think is extremely important for people doing a geography degree in Ireland, is to get to know the geography of this country very well. We have master's programs if you want to go on, environment and development, environmental science, biodiversity and conservation, development practice, and even further we supervise and we offer to supervise PhDs in a whole range of subjects. You can find out more about us at our website, which is quite a good website, and we're also here today in the Hamilton and also in the dining hall. So it's probably best at that point if I take questions and queries from you. Everything is crystal clear. No? Okay, if you do have further queries, you can just check in. We still have people at the Hamilton, and we still have people up in the dining hall, and we'll be there until 3:30 or thereabouts. Or if you want to ask me something separately, catch me on the way out. Thank you.